getting really hot outside and I need a beer. Let's make a michelada. Hey, welcome to the Top Shelf, and right now we're going to be making the Mexican staple, the michelada. It's a drink that's really meant for brunch time and also summer hot weather. And what I really like about it is that there's a lot of parts in there. There's a lot of ingredients that you can mix and match, which offers pretty much endless possibilities when it comes to making this cocktail. And I'm going to basically show you how I'm making it. I'm going to give you a bunch of different tips here so that you can actually make the michelada the way that you like it, so that it suits your own personal taste. Now, before I get started, there's one thing I want to say about the michelada. Well, if you go to Mexico and you travel the regions, you're going to realize that pretty much everybody makes it in a different way. And also, well, every place you go, everybody claims that the way they make it is the only way that you should be making a michelada. I don't know where I've heard that before. Maybe a little bit too often. Too many cocktails, they say that, but hey, you know what? I digress. I'm gonna probably make it wrong because somebody somewhere is gonna see this video and be like, this is wrong, you're not supposed to do it this way. Well, somebody's gonna tell you that you're doing it wrong, so we're all doing it right and wrong at the same time. Doesn't matter. Let's get started. The first thing you need a big glass. I guess I'm gonna be using a beer glass. The bigger, the better. I think something around the lines of 18 to 20 ounces is a good size to aim for. This one I think is about 18, 19 ounces, and it's still a little bit too small, but it's not too bad. So, beer glass. Now the next thing is you want a nice rim on this glass. So traditionally they would use salt, kosher salt, or sometimes people will use salt and Tajín, or salt plus Tajín. Sometimes they'll use chili powder. Sometimes they're going to use sal de cruzado, which is warm salt. Depending on what you like. Personally, I like Tajín. This nice little bottle here. Dried chilies, little lime, little tart, little hot, a little sweet at the same time. I like it. So I'm going to be using Tajín right now. And I've got some prepared for my rimming glass here. There you go. Or at least rimming plate, not rimming glass. Well, first thing I'm going to do though is I will cut myself a wedge of lime. All right, and then I'm gonna do a little slit here. Perfect. Now I'm gonna put some lime juice in here. Make sure that it's properly wet. Perfect. I'm gonna put this aside for now. We're gonna use this as garnish later. And now, the part where I'm not the best at, rimming a glass. See, it's already going all over the place. All right, that's called it good enough. Perfect. So, once you've got your rim on there, what you wanna do after is put some ice. Let's do this. Let's put some ice in there. Yeah, okay, this thing is gonna be fine. I'm gonna use about 4 cubes here. You just fill the glass. With me, I'm trying to make sure that my beer goes all the way to the top without overflowing, so 4 cubes is good enough for me. And then after that, you want the sauce mix. What I mean by that is this is a pretty much the standard flavors that you're gonna put in there. You will need hot sauce, put that aside. Hot sauce, savory sauce, and optionally, if you want, an umami sauce. So these two here are traditional. Definitely the hot sauce. The Worcestershire sauce is going to give you a lot of complexity in there. It's going to give you a little bit of sweetness as well. So this is a standard. The hot sauce, depending on how hot you like it, you might want to have a little or a lot of sauce. Personally, I like it pretty spicy, so I tend to put a lot more sauce in there than some people would. And last but not least, when you're doing the mix, well, you want an umami sauce in there. It's gonna add a little bit more complexity on top of the Worcestershire sauce and a little bit of saltiness also, which I think is very nice. So when it comes to the hot sauce, you can use, like here, I like Valentina. You can use Valentina, Cholula, Tapatio, Sriracha if you want, even though it's probably not that traditional. But any kind of hot sauce, you know, that's Mexican or close to, or if you want to experiment, go ahead. Personally, for me, Valentina does the trick. And when it comes to the savory sauce, then Worcestershire sauce is the standard. However, if you want, also you can use HP sauce, which the British called also the brown sauce, or the Mexican, they call it salsa inglesa, so English sauce. This one though is a little bit more thick, so it's thicker. Sometimes it's a little harder to actually get it to mix properly, but if you want to give it a shot, personally, I like it very much. It's just that it's a little annoying sometimes with all the flotsams in there. So for me, right now, it's gonna be the Worcestershire sauce, traditional. And last but not least, for the umami, what you want here is either use Maggi sauce or soy sauce. And this one here, you're just gonna put a little bit, but personally, I think that the Maggi sauce with the, you know, the fermented wheat in there, very nice. So I'm gonna be using that. Now, I would tell you normally, if you wanna make it, because you're building this cocktail in a glass, right? So if you want, you can just go in here and just like go like dashing it and whatever, but I don't like that so much because it's not very consistent. So what I prefer to do instead is I'm going to be making sauce mix. So what you would do is you would take these 3 sauces and you're going to pre-prepare your mix so that it gets it's a lot faster and it's a lot more consistent. So once you're able to figure out how much of each you really like best, then you can put that in a bottle and go for it. Now, personally, what I do here is I like to have 1 part of umami sauce, 2 parts of savory sauce or Worcestershire, and 3 to 6 parts of hot sauce, depending on how hot the sauce is or how spicy I want to have it. So in this case here, I have a mix that I pre-made a few weeks ago, and then I have a little bit left because apparently I've been drinking a lot of these recently. And I have 6 parts of hot sauce, 2 parts of Worcestershire sauce, and 1 part of umami. So that's about 1 ounce, 2 ounces, and something like, I got screwed up there, but 12 ounces, that makes right. Yeah, 1, 2, and 6. All right, let's just put that in. So for your sauce like this, I like to have approximately 3/4 ounces of this mix. So I'm gonna be putting it right now. Here you go. Now the sauce, and obviously eventually you're gonna be putting the beer, right? But when it comes to the sauce, you can put it before the beer or after. It doesn't really matter because it's going to sink at the bottom anyway, so you're just going to have to mix that up in the end. So it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Now the other ingredient that is very controversial, I'm gonna shake that a little bit. So what's very controversial about this one is that nobody agrees in a michelada. Do you put a kind of tomato juice in there or Clamato? Some people also use Camarozano, which is basically tomato and shrimp juice. There's chamoy as well that I use in Mexico and I think in the south of also the United States. So depending on what you want. Personally, well, I'm Canadian. I'm partial to the Caesar, so I'm gonna be using some Clamato or Caesar mix in there. And this one is, well, extra spicy. You can put anything you want. I suggested you experiment with this because, well, it's really a matter of taste. Personally, I tried first, when I first tried experimenting with the michelada, I was using, well, I wasn't using it at all. And then eventually I decided to add it and I find it really adds something nice, fruity, a little bit, you know, like that clam taste really makes the flavors pop, and I really like it. You can put as much as you want in there. Honestly, a lot of places they put a lot of it, and then some people they put very little. I think that around 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce is a good starting point. So I'm going to be putting here. There you go, about 1/2 ounce in here. There you go. And then after that, all right, we're gonna put that away. After that, last but not least, well, actually, we're gonna be putting the beer after, but we're gonna need some lime juice. And this one, depending on how fresh, tart, acidic you wanna get it, I would think that maybe starting around 1 ounce of fresh lime juice would be a good start. Personally, I like it a lot more acidic than that. So I'm gonna be putting 1.5 ounce of fresh lime juice in here. There you go. Perfect. And then after that, we will be putting that beer. There you go. Beer, beer, beer. So when it comes to beer, the traditional, and I think personally my preferred way, is to use a Mexican lager, because I find that they're a lot crisper, a lot lighter, so they're not as sweet or as heavy as, let's say, American or Canadian lagers. This is definitely going to give you, then again, in my opinion, the perfect, Michelada. It's going to be a lot nicer. However, like any of the other parts in there, if you want to mix and match, put them, not put them, put more or whatever, you can experiment. You can use any beer you want and see how you like it. I'm a big fan of Modelo Especial, so I'm going to open that one up. And we are going to pour that in here. I like to be nice and slow, not to make too much foam in there. Here you go. All right. And we're going to be putting a straw in here. And remember that nice little piece of lime. I'm going to find a place where there was almost no rim in here. There you go. I'm going to garnish this with a piece of lime. And that's how you make, at least that's how I make my Michelada. If you make it differently, well, definitely I'm really interested to know how you make it. And if you're making it for the first time, try figuring out what you based on the recipe I just gave you, and tell me what you like. Let's see that. Let's. Give it a shot. Yep. The best thing to do is just to take that straw and just mix it a little bit. So an extra trick that actually you might want to do, if you don't like too much solid stuff in your drink, I would suggest you use the Jim Meehan method, which what he does is he puts all the ingredients in a mixing glass, and then including the beer, and then he's going to mix that up with a bar spoon, and he's actually going to strain with, well, I have an old style strainer here, but he's going to strain with a Hawthorne strainer directly in the glass. Now, obviously, you're going to be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Carbonation, man, it's like you're gonna kill the beer. If you take that long to drink a beer, you're drinking it way too slow. You know, that's just, I have to say, the carbonation you're gonna lose, it's not gonna be that much. So if you end up with a flat Michelada, you're not drinking fast enough. Luckily, these are low alcohol, but depending on what you want, I don't really care. I just put it like this. It's more traditional, and then you can play with your straw. And I'm a fidgety person, so that's definitely something I like to do. And this is how you make a Michelada. And, well, if you're watching and you're like, no, it's wrong, well, please let me know what's wrong, because I'm really curious. I want to try your version and see which one is best. And, well, if you like the content, you can just click like, subscribe as usual, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, cheers.